Well, one of the real strengths of the GRDC is the way its regional panels turn the priorities of producers into the investment priorities of the organisation. Well, July marked the start of a new 3-year term for the panels with a mixture of fresh faces and those who are going around again. Recently, I had a very brief chance to catch up with GRDC's Chairman Keith Perrett, and I asked him what he thought were the big challenges facing the latest regional panels.
We've done a lot of research, we've done a lot of work to help farmers over the recent years. What we need now is better linkages, and the challenge for our panel members now is to be out there, to be seen more often, to be a greater voice for the GRDC, to be a greater channel between GRDC head office, its board, senior management and our growers. And that's what we would like to see out of the panels more than anything else today, a greater linkage back to the growers in the regions.
If you had one piece of advice for an individual panel member, what would it be?
Number one, enjoy your role. It's a challenge, to be out there. It's certainly time consuming, but make sure you enjoy the role. Make sure you get something personally out of the role as well. And if you're doing that, you'll do a really good job and you'll link well with your main customer base, which is the growers in your region. So the main thing is enjoy the role, get out there, get amongst your growers, fellow growers, as much as you possibly can. Take in as much knowledge as you possibly can, because that will certainly help you in the role of representing your region.
What's an indication that a panel member's doing their job right then? A big phone bill?
No, I think it's recognition from your peers that you're someone that they will ring up, they will talk to about what's happening on their individual property or to their industry. If you're getting regular contact from people around the region, then obviously you have the respect of people around the region, and obviously you've done the hard yards so people know who you are and that you are someone that they can come and talk to, and that will hear them out and act on the issues they bring forward to you. 22
years of runs on the board now for GRDC. How important is the panel structure to having achieved those runs?
You wouldn't have got where we've got without the panels. I mean, I think it's one of the strengths of GRDC. It's one of the strengths we have above other RDCs, above other organisations which do work for producers. That we do have that direct linkage. We do have people who are actually involved in farming, that are involved in agronomy, that are involved in agribusiness, bringing forward the confronting issues to the farming sector for GRDC to look at and GRDC to understand what the issue is, what the problem is, how do we go about solving that problem, what research is required to solve that problem. If we didn't have the panels, we wouldn't have those direct linkages, we wouldn't have the best understanding that we have of how those problems are affecting on farmers on their own properties.
Do you reckon we're going into a period that's any different to what's gone before in terms of the challenges that the panels have to face?
I think over the previous decade or 2 decades we've seen tremendous change. I think one thing we'll continue to see, that if we see anything at all, probably the pace of change will increase. It seems to be an ever-increasing fact of life that change is upon us. We need to keep farming better and better. The financial pressures which are facing farmers today are quite constant and quite strong. To overcome those, we need to understand our businesses extremely well, understand where our cost structures are, where our profits are, where the risks to our business are more than anything.
Given the decline over the years in state government investment in extension and the need now for GRDC to step up its investment in that area, what difference does that make to panel members?
So while the traditional extension role was provided by a state agency, they still do in some areas to an extent, and we will work with them to try and ensure that that continues where they do play a valuable role. But we also understand that there's a number of other roles where extension happens today, and that can be through private agronomists, so consultants, which many farmers use today. It can be direct information from GRDC using electronic forms, using our ground cover, using all sorts of methods which suit the farmers in the individual regions or their individual circumstances. And that's what we're targeting, understanding how farmers get their knowledge, how they want their knowledge, and how we can best fill that gap.
It seems obvious, but would you say that having farmers as panel members really is an advantage in delivering R&D to growers?
Well, the panel members understanding what are the needs of the individual farmers in their area, so they can help us direct that extension to the best they can, and they're aware of the research. So at some point they will be out there advising farmers of what research was done, where they can find that research, whether it's a GRDC fact sheet, whether it's on the GRDC website, but just advising growers that yes, we have done that research, yes, that knowledge is there, and this is how you can go and seek that knowledge and how you can find it. So it's a critical role for the panel members to understand what research has been done, where it is, how it's accessible, and what's relevant to growers in their areas.